So I just want to thank any veterans that are out there. And if we say veterans families, it's probably just about everybody here. Yeah, another motion. Board met on December 1st, just a few days ago. We had a quorum. We discussed the lawsuit.
Assuming who?
I'm sorry.
Name the members. Did it constitute a quorum? Since I don't know several members of the board.
This and get through this. If you want to ask after that, that's fine. Rod was there, myself was there, and my husband was there. Stuff and not get interrupted every 30 seconds.
Hang on.
Oh, my fault.
So we discussed the lawsuit, made a motion, which was passed. And the details are legal in nature, so we're not open to disclose that at this time. Now, President's statement.
No, now you have to make a motion.
Motion to approve. What's Alan say? This is Pamela Ane.
And what is her?
She's a volunteer that
Running the
just
Zoom.
came in to run the Zoom because Alan is working on the main thing.
Oh, that's great. Thank you very much.
Okay, the board met on several occasions by Zoom in the past 30 days with the plaintiff's counsel. And a few sessions with the plaintiff and the defendant's counsel. Also met in Judge Kubota's chambers. These were all by Zoom. These are legal proceedings concerning the lawsuit settlement. Read what I was allowed to read. The trial is off. Parties reached a settlement. The term sheet or the final documents are to be submitted to Judge Kubota by Monday, the 12th of December at 8:30 a.m. Once the settlement terms are finalized and the agreement signed, the board will provide further details. Advice of counsel, we have no further comments on that. Committee reports. Operations manual. On the operations manual, the emphasis is on the elections. And so we have more volunteers, we move along a little faster, but it's the way it is. So on the committee reports, the governance operations manual, where we're going to talk about the elections because that's the priority. And under the elections, we have communications, ballot handling, management, and member outreach. And I'm going to talk about all those on the election schedule, which is going to be addendum A to the minutes that get posted. So this election cycle, the board member nominations have 6 weeks from when they got the mailers to when they can sign up. We think that's a little longer than ever before. We hope we get quite a few applicants. So everyone should have gotten a newsletter. Did anybody not get the newsletter? Just a hand? Okay, good. And you saw something on social media. We're trying to recruit people to be nominees. And the next 2 days, that'll be posted. And then after a week later or 2 weeks later, we'll post something again, just to keep it in the forefront, trying to get volunteers to do that. The ML, what we're calling the master membership list, is now called the membership mailing list. Gotcha. So every day address was updated by to the county records. Excuse me.
Yeah, I had a question about the election.
Yeah, I'll get to that.
Okay. Is that gonna be, broadcasted, or is that gonna be private?
I think we're quite transparent in everything we do. December 30th.
December 30th?
Yeah.
Like a week ahead of time, or,
You could do it tomorrow if you want.
but I mean, if you do it by December 30th.
Yes, yeah. So if you come here on December 30th, Kim should timestamp it, so everything will be.
Thank you.
Alan and a member called Steve Golis went through the entire membership list and updated it to the county records. And we did that by first class mail, so we could get all the returns and update. And we've gotten 34 returns, addresses not deliverable, of which one of them, I know the person's living in the house that the mail was sent to and it came back as not deliverable. The only thing I could see is we had their last name to the right instead of the last name first. But I don't know if that's it. You had about 5 of those, but one I can verify the person is living in the house. We're going to do a quick research on those and any others that come in, and then we may have to turn it over to an outside source to do a search for those people, and that costs generally $3 a piece. But we're trying to get a membership list as up to date as possible. Okay, so to do the ballot and the assessments that have to go out every year, I'm going to give a brief description. The ballots are very close to being done, can't be all the way completed because of things like we don't know how many candidates there are. There's a couple legal things that we want to verify that we're going to put on the back to make sure everything's up to snuff. The assessment information will come from the office. We'll need to get that from Kim. Basically, what the plan is now, there'll be a number 10 envelope. There'll be a number 6 envelope with one piece of paper, which will be the ballot. There'll be a number 6 envelope with one piece of paper that'll be the assessments, because they're due at different time periods. When the ballots come in, we want to be put in a safe box, and we don't want, if they have the check in there, we won't get the check until it's open. It won't be open until election day. So I went out for 4 quotes. I got 3 of them back. And just before I came here, I had a ding. I got the 4th one in, but I haven't opened it to look at it. It's a company called Slate Group. They were best able to conform to what we wanted to do paper-wise for stuffing and mailing. So I want to make a motion to approve $3,376 for the printing and distribution of the 2023 ballot and assessment notices.
Second.
Can we? Like, we get all the facts and figures.
Yes.
I'm sorry, that was incomprehensible, Mike.
I just wanted to table it for a week so we could get all the facts and figures before I sign off on it.
So that,
I want to see what the,
yeah, I would call that a point of order, and it's accepted.
okay,
And you're calling for 1 week? Or?
yeah, 1 week should be fine.
That may end up then, after you review it, it may end up being one of those where the board has to notify the community that they're having a meeting without notice. Because if we wait to the next board meeting, then it's too close to the send time. But to be legal, there's a way to do that. So on, so 12:30 is the deadline to have your nominations in. In January 3rd to January 9th, the candidates will be contacted for interviews. They'll be vetted for possible CCNR violations. And we'll look at the dues to make sure they're current. Kim runs the dues. The architectural committee will check for the CCNRs, report back to the elections committee, who then will report back to the board.
When's the date they can start putting ballots in or nomination forms in?
When you got the newsletter days ago,
Okay,
so we have 6 weeks that they could do it.
so what's the date they could start submitting nomination forms? Today?
5 days ago with the newsletter. And it'll be posted on social media.
Okay.
Member outreach, that's going to involve some of Bethany Reynolds. I don't know if anybody's seen her post on social media. She does an excellent job. She's part of the elections committee, specializing in social outreach. So just about all the stuff about elections, as the date on the calendar comes up, will be notifications to the community. Treasurer's report, Steve.
Looks good. We're still getting money in from the county for the transfer fees. We can pay our bills.
Janet, architectural committee.
I have finally met with all my committee members.
Okay, now that old business on the Lava buyout, there's been approximately 46 that have been processed. And by processed, I mean it's gone all the way through and people have gotten their money. So I've talked to many happy people that are moving on with their lives. I know there's a lot more in the system every month. As I get the updates, I'll each month let the community know. Every one of those that's get turned in on time saves us from having to send out another ballot or a newsletter, because if it's a county property, they will get a master sheet showing all their properties. The cell tower negotiations in the back, that's on hold. Just don't have time to do it. When I call them, he's not there. When he calls me, I'm still sleeping. So.
That we need to get that done.
See it as a big hurry. I mean, on their end, they might think it is.
It's cash flow for us.
Yeah, and that's what we're fighting about. So you got to meet on that. Okay, now we had the last meeting, we had a request on bylaw changes. A very nice 5-page document. That's now on hold. I did do what I thought was a decent response. It's on hold pending the final documents of the lawsuit. And then I'll reach out to the gentleman personally that submitted the in-depth analysis. Under new business, as I noted in the president's statement, council called the board to legal meetings of immediate need on November 30th and December 2nd, in response to litigation. This is documenting the meetings of legal nature did occur, just notifying the community that the board was in session with legal counsel, called by legal counsel at the last minute. We couldn't give adequate notice. The minutes and the discussions of those meetings were primarily about the lawsuit, and we are asked not to disclose because it's legal. Trying to schedule a special meeting with the mayor about lava damaged lots. As you could probably imagine, he's pretty busy thanks to Mauna Loa. Jan's been trying to get through to his people. That's going back and forth. We don't know when it's going to happen. We hope it happens. I'm really still hoping for January, but it might depend on what the mayor has to do up above. Question and answers. Comments. Sir.
I'm just looking at applicant.
We can disclose that at this time.
Okay. Now, eventually,
Seen as December 12th.
anyway, it's nice that's.
And when you're on the board, eventually it's a big thing off your plate.
Yeah.
Pete?
Yeah, I'd like to know, since you.
We have a different opinion on that. Thank you for expressing yours.
Well, could you answer it?
My answer is we have a requirement. The CCNR committee will vet for any CCNR violations they have.
Basic of the driveway itself. And there are multiple variations on top of it.
We're going to basically go by the precedent that was set by the last several boards.
How many back, please? The last one. So where are you going from there? Because that's the first time that CCNRs were ever included.
It's not correct. I encourage you to go look.
Tell me the history, please.
No, I'm not
Some of the
here.
neighbors,
Mr. Wilson, I'm not going to go spend 10 hours researching documentation for you. You're welcome to go online and do your own research.
I did.
Apparently you didn't search hard. Yeah, apparently you didn't look hard enough.
Regarding driveways and their aprons.
If the CCNR committee finds a person in violation of any CCNRs, that's reason not to be a candidate.
So if I'm.
Correct. If
Okay.
you don't meet the
So
requirements.
everybody has to be paid, you're saying, right?
Well, I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth with you for 15 minutes on this. I'm just saying just go read the documentation. I've read it.
It's obviously up to interpretation. It varies to my interpretation, so.
Correct.
There might be a need for some clarification.
The architectural committee will make that decision, and it's based on what we found before. There's been
And we've
lawsuits
got
on it.
what, 2 or 3 days to find out what.
About 7 weeks from now. Oh, yeah, and then it'll be,
So we'll know before that set.
if,
Deadline.
for instance, somebody puts in a nomination form tomorrow, it's possible that the CCNR committee had time. They would do their research, and Pam could, I'm sorry, Kim would have to wait to see when the dues are paid.
Thanks for the transparency.
You're welcome. That statement,
There will be a statement. Statement together. We can't do the state. It probably won't be.
Joint statement.
Okay.
In that no people who are at part of the Zoom meeting, right?
Pam, can you see how many people are on the meeting?
There are presently. Is they can hear the board. We are having challenges hearing you folks on this, so I'm having to kind of type in whatever's being said per audience and.
And to us.
Correct.
Oh, so she's gonna vet the people who can be read.
No.
Yeah.
But no one can see it.
The Zoom while we're here.
I can Zoom on my phone.
Well, that could be a
I'm not
problem.
live.
I'm just saying, if you're concerned, you could, yeah, I'm kind of, at limits with what I can do, because it's the only mic we have at the moment.
So is it?
That would be a question, that would be a question for Alan, the technical member of the board.
So one of the suggestions was just
Indeed, I can
made.
barely answer my cell phone.
So one of the
Let alone
suggestions
write
that was just made is if you,
Well, a little closer to the camera, and I think we can hear you. We can hear the board members. It's hard to hear the audience.
they're suggesting that if you ask a question, that you walk up closer to me and your mic is here.
And I think what Pete is suggesting is we have a microphone that's focused out to the audience. Is that correct?
Yeah, and also a video out. Except for this year's board. I've seen the people who choose to,
Very good, thank you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was surprised to find. If you think that's appropriate. Especially when they've already been holding on to it. Times did I tell you, you know, sat right here, you used your. That you thought, that, you know, that I had. You didn't believe that I was purchasing. Oh, HPD. Mediation. You tried every which way to. I wasn't wrong, but it just didn't work, did it? It didn't. Okay, I'm gonna let you talk here. So, how many times you tell me? see where you get off. Okay. You need to. You know, you're not gonna, and I know you have your ad. You know, you charge whatever the hell, $199, is your aid included, that's great, whatever, but you don't own the property, do you? So it's it's messed up. You're out of line. And that's supposedly the idea in play, and I'm okay with that. But, you know, it's, right, I don't know why. You don't. Okay, and to call HPD and try to harass me using your time. LCA president called me to arrange a meeting with. Barricade, you yourself, you're not paying. Yes, I was told that. And you wanted me. Oh, yeah, that is you or to coach me into a fight. See, LCA to do that kind of stuff towards property.
Called Officer Scanlon. And it off the top of Fissure 8, hollering at them. I had previous complaints from the community. I always told them CA's business, that's between you and whether the property owners are out there. And came to mediate and explain to both myself and Mr. Burmeister. Before we left, you understood that. Part of the meeting. So have it transcribed for everybody to see that. I'm fine with whatever you have. So the concern I had was an individual going across.
So why did
Wait,
you?
wait, wait, I'm not done.
you deliberately bring those people onto that? You sat there, you could see me from where you were.
Chris,
Hey,
you were at a secret meeting with the mayor, my understanding, and you were in heat lessons. I understand. This is done. No more.
No.
Yes, yes.
well,
Anyone
it's
else?
LCA, he is. So,
Chris, you're incorrect. So,
I have a witness right here.
I watch you.
bylaw changes are going to be affected by the decision of the lawsuit. And so we weren't going to talk about those now. We've changed basically to the amendment and the bylaws in 1969 and their interpretation.
1969?
Yes. A copy of the bylaws. We can get you one. Any?
The bylaws are available.
Yeah, I was gonna say, everything should be available online, and I believe they also posted, the bylaw changes online.
One can discern when 1969's amendments are and 1970.
Yes, they are. Just got to read the
Yeah.
document.
There is a page,
Days where the amendments.
Volunteer to do that. That would be great.
hold on, that's not. Page
There is.
with the date. That should be online.
I think it only goes back to
They
1977.
removed it, Joe?
It's just, it's not correct. One of the comments.
And I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
We just adjourned. Oh, yeah, that's not. Yeah.
But it's getting better.